Gravel bikes are incredibly capable machines these days, but how close can they get to a mountain bike when you add wider tyres and a suspension fork? Well, today we're going to find out by having a bit of a race. I'm going to take a Canyon Lux trail mountain bike and ride it at top speed around the course we've devised here in the Forest of Dean. I'll then ride the same loop again as fast as possible on a Canyon Grizl gravel bike. While we'll be taking a look at the time for each run, we'll be focusing more on where each bike excels on the course, what the limitations of each bike are, and how the bikes compare when ridden back to back. Before I show you what these bikes are going to be tackling, a big thank you to our sponsors Canyon for helping to make this video, and don't forget to subscribe to BikeRadar for more challenges like this. We're sticking to mainly blue mountain bike trails to avoid any gaps and drops, while the Grizl has suspension it's not designed for riding like that. I've been racing and testing mountain bikes for years now, so don't worry, I've made sure there's still plenty of rough, rooty stuff to test the Grizl suspension, flow-in sections to see how much we can push the tyres, and a few climbs where we might even see the Grizl pull out some time. We've kept the course short so that I'm able to repeat the effort without fatigue impacting on the results. While these are quite different bikes, I still think this is going to be pretty close. Without further ado, I'm going to get kitted up and put a time in on the mountain bike. Okay, here we go, lap 1 on the mountain bike. Just going to come up to where I'm going to start my timer. And here we go. Even though we've got 110 mil of travel at the back, it doesn't seem to be bobbing a whole lot, so things still feel nice and efficient. As I get around this corner, it gets pretty rough and choppy, which should be fine on this. I'm not sure what it'd be like on a gravel bike. Here on this rocky climb is where I think these wide Maxxis tyres are going to play their part. I can feel that fork bobbing up and down when I'm out of the saddle. It's not too bad, but I know the fork on the Grizl won't be doing that. So this might be where the gravel bike has the advantage onto the blue. This bike feels really super efficient. I don't feel like I'm wasting much through suspension. At least I've got the nice wide bar on here, 760. You can feel those tyres struggling for grip. This can be sketchy. The outside. Here's the route. That's the edge of the tyres there. I felt that go then. Oh man. Big humps through here. Not something I can do on the gravel bike probably. Oh, slippy. Carrying speed though. All right, not easy riding up, as we were going to expect. My little lungs, COVID and all that. But yeah, the bike's actually understandably really efficient. You know, it's built to be a sort of cross-country / trail bike. So 110 mil at the back, doesn't bob really under power. There's a lockout if you need it. I didn't touch it. Certainly appreciate this bike in these conditions. It's pretty icy. I certainly found the limits on the tyres a number of times. It's going to be really interesting. I think that lap, especially with the technical bit from the little added sort of spicy downhill section, is going to be really hard on the gravel bike.
Okay, so that's lap 1 done on the mountain bike. My time was nearly 17 minutes, just under. So it's time to go and see what the gravel bike has in store for us. So I'll catch you in a minute. Here we go, lap 2 on the Grizl this time. 3, 2, 1. Oh, straight away, that first acceleration is so much easier. Oh. The tyres are only 45mm wide, so still a reasonable amount of cushion, but certainly roll quicker than the bigger tyres on the mountain bike. I just feel that power is so easily transferred to the back wheel. It's going to get tech. It's a bit rougher around here. Over these lumps and bumps. Wasn't too bad. It feels quicker. Not sure if it is. I guess we'll find out. Through those repetitive, stuttery, small rock sections, definitely feels like progress is stifled a bit, but you can get back up to speed so quick on this thing. Got 30mm of travel from the rock shot Rudy fork up front. It's not as much by any means as I have on the Lux Trail, but it's still enough just to take the edge of some of these bigger impacts. I use that 75mm drop on the post. Oh, that's slower, isn't it? Oh. I've gone quiet because these routes need a lot of concentration. Oh, and I'm using all of that 30mm, I reckon. Dodge those. It drops so fast. Oh. Okay, I'm quite getting the same sort of position as on the mountain bike. So you can't really pump in quite the same way. Just a bit twitchy there. Oh. Nearly at the end. Here we go. Finished. Okay, so lap 2 done on the gravel bike. Very different experience, but actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I guess it just goes to show just how versatile these types of bikes are. So despite the skinnier tyres and no rear suspension and stuff like that, the handling was actually really impressive on a lot of the rougher climbs and those mellower, flatter sections. I think there's no denying you can't attack the downhill stages in quite the same way, but this thing certainly rolls way, way faster. So in terms of time, I was actually around 30 seconds quicker on the Grizl. So I'm off to go and get changed, so we'll see you in the studio for some in-depth analysis later. Right, we're back in the studio after a great day on the hill. Now, the first thing I want to say is that I really want to do more of this. That was brilliant fun. There's nothing quite like riding bikes as fast as possible, trying to find their limits. It's worth noting that I did this without a power meter and due to limited daylight hours, only did 1 lap on each bike. So it's not exactly scientific. I used my Garmin to time the laps and recorded each lap on Strava too, but regardless, all the data here needs to be taken with a pinch of salt. That's to say, this is more about my feelings on the bike rather than any kind of hard data. But how did the bikes compare? Let's start with the times. According to my Garmin, I did the lap on a mountain bike in a time of 16 minutes and 43 seconds. On the gravel bike, however, I managed to get that time down to 16 minutes and 23 seconds. Now, although I tried to keep these efforts as consistent as possible, without a power meter, it's impossible to tell quite how accurate these are. Now, for all I know, it might have been that the lap on the mountain bike helped really warm me up and allowed me to ride that bit hard on the gravel bike. But we weren't really focusing on time differences. Let's look at how the bikes compared, and I'm going to start first with climbing. A really noticeable difference between the bikes came as soon as the trail went up. While the mountain bike felt more forgiving over chunky rocks and roots, the gravel bike just felt that bit more eager to defy gravity. What's really interesting is that while the gravel bike felt quicker and easier to ride uphill, according to the times, it was only marginally faster. As ever, these results are a guide rather than scientific fact. On any smooth, flat surface, the gravel bike just felt more efficient. I was able to get up to speed more quickly and then hold that speed more easily. It felt like the main contributing factors here were the slightly lower weight for acceleration, the aero ride position, but more than anything, the rolling speed of the tyres. Once up to speed, I felt like I could maintain it without as much perceived effort when compared to the mountain bike, which felt like it rolled slightly more slowly and promoted a less aggressive ride position. Technical sections of the trail saw a clear win for the Lux mountain bike, though with the extra travel up front, rear suspension and more confident ride position, that's exactly what I was expecting to find out. And on the most demanding downhill part of our test loop, which was roughly 30 seconds in length, I found it far easier to ride the mountain bike faster with more control. Now this is reflected in the times where, according to Strava, I was 6 seconds faster than on the gravel bike. But while the mountain bike certainly felt quicker and easier to ride here, the gravel bike more than held its own, even if it was closer to its limits. With a wider bar, fatter tyres, more suspension travel and geometry that gives more stability, the mountain bike was always going to have the edge when it came to the sendy bits. I was able to carry more speed in and out of any technical descents and ride them more confidently. But there's no denying that the gravel bike was impressively capable on proper blue graded mountain bike trails. I still had heaps of fun trying to ride it fast. However, you've really got to get good at picking your lines. There is one more thing that I want to touch on, and that is while the mountain bike is indeed very fast and a hoot on technical trails, the gravel bike could comfortably be ridden to the trail centre from my house, and if I was fit enough, back home too. I love that the fun that you can have on this thing isn't limited to one specific place. So what are my takeaways? Well, first up, I was surprised just how fast I could ride the gravel bike in tech terrain. That being said, when it came to the descents, I felt like I could get away with more on the mountain bike. What challenge would you like to see us take on next? As always, let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, then hit the like button, subscribe, and if you like this one, then check this video.